The stars shone brightly above the United Nations Space Command headquarters in Geneva. Captain Ethan Miller stared at the large screen showing an unidentified object approaching Earth. His heart raced as he realized this was the moment humanity had been preparing for since they first ventured beyond their solar system 10 years ago. "Sir, the object has changed course. It's heading directly toward our moon base Alpha," said Lieutenant Olivia Wright, her voice steady despite the tension in the room. "Send the first contact protocol message on all frequencies," ordered Ethan. He straightened his uniform and took a deep breath. Humanity's first encounter with alien life was about to happen under his watch. The year was 2137. Earth had only recently developed faster-than-light travel, making them newcomers to the vast expanse of space. Their technology was impressive for their age as a spacefaring civilization, but still decades behind what was about to arrive. The large screen flickered as a response came through. The face that appeared wasn't what anyone expected. The alien had smooth purple skin with 4 eyes arranged in a diamond pattern. Its mouth moved in strange ways as it spoke in a language no human had ever heard. "Dr. Alvarez, can you translate?" Ethan asked the linguist standing nearby. Dr. Maria Alvarez typed quickly on her tablet. "The computer is processing it now. Their language structure is unlike anything we've encountered, but there are patterns emerging." After 30 tense minutes, the first understandable words came through. "We are the Viridian Empire. We come in peace and wish to welcome Earth to the galactic community." Over the next few days, representatives from the Viridian Empire met with Earth's leaders. They shared stories of a vast coalition of planets working together for mutual benefit. They offered technology, knowledge, and protection. In return, they asked only for friendship and trade. Captain Ethan Miller and Lieutenant Olivia Wright were chosen as Earth's representatives for future communications. They began learning about Viridian culture and technology, amazed by what they discovered. "Their ships can travel 10 times faster than ours," Ethan told General Frank Lewis during a briefing. "And their medical technology could cure most of our diseases." "I don't trust them," said General Lewis, his eyes narrowing. "Nobody gives away technology without wanting something in return." Olivia nodded in agreement. "There's something they're not telling us. During my last meeting, they asked a lot of questions about our ocean resources and mining capabilities. Unknown to Earth's leaders, the Viridians were indeed hiding something significant. Their empire was locked in a brutal war with a mysterious species called the Drakari Collective. The war had been going on for decades, and the Viridians were slowly losing. In the private chambers of the Viridian flagship, Commander Zool spoke with his advisors. "This planet has exactly what we need. Their oceans contain high concentrations of xanthium, essential for our weapon systems." "What about the humans?" asked Science Officer Mira. "They are primitive but adaptable," replied Zool. "They could make useful allies, or at worst, a buffer zone between us and the Drakari advance." Back on Earth, celebrations continued as humanity embraced their new place in the galaxy. Trade agreements were signed. Viridian technology began improving human lives. The first joint human Viridian space station was planned. Only a few, like Captain Miller, felt uneasy. One evening, as he watched a Viridian ship departing Earth with what they called cultural samples from the ocean, he turned to Olivia. "Have you noticed they never talk about other species? If there's a whole galactic community, where is everyone else?" Olivia looked troubled. "And their ships always have weapons armed, even during diplomatic meetings. They say it's standard procedure, but I've seen their crews. They're soldiers, not diplomats." As Earth's leaders prepared to sign a formal alliance with the Viridian Empire, neither they nor their alien visitors noticed the small, stealthy probe watching from the edge of the solar system. The probe belonged to the Drakari Collective, and it had just discovered that their enemies had found a new ally, or perhaps a new victim. The stage was set for a conflict that would change the fate of 3 civilizations forever. 5 years passed since the Viridians first arrived on Earth. Their technology had changed human life in amazing ways. Cities now had clean energy, diseases that once killed millions were gone, and the first human colonies beyond Mars were thriving. But not everything was as good as it seemed. Director Nicholas Carter sat in his dimly lit office at Earth Intelligence Headquarters. The screens around him showed Viridian ships extracting something from Earth's oceans. This was the third such operation this month, and none had been reported to Earth's government. "They're taking more than they admitted in the treaties," he said to his assistant. "Analysis shows they've removed nearly 200 tons of rare minerals from the Pacific Deep Zone alone." The door opened, and Dr. Lisa Donovan rushed in. Her normally neat appearance was disheveled, like she hadn't slept in days. "Director, I've decoded their latest communications," she said, placing a data chip on his desk. "You need to see this now." The video showed two high-ranking Viridian officers speaking in their native language. Thanks to Lisa's work, subtitles appeared at the bottom of the screen. "The Drakari have pushed us back in 3 more systems," said the first officer. "Our defenses are failing." "Then we must accelerate the Earth plan," replied the second. "Begin moving our civilian ships into Earth orbit. Position them near major human cities. Using them as shields is against the Coalition Code," the first officer argued. "The humans don't know about the code. Besides, their planet has already been designated as a buffer zone in the grand strategy. Their sacrifice will slow the Drakari advance by at least 2 years, giving us time to rebuild our fleets." Nicholas turned off the video, his face grim. "They're losing their war, and they plan to use Earth as a battlefield to slow down their enemy." "There's more," Lisa said. "Ambassador Reed has been meeting secretly with someone. I thought he was working with the Viridians behind our backs, but I was wrong." She showed him another video. Ambassador Samuel Reed was talking to a creature unlike the Viridians. This being had scaled skin that shifted colors like a chameleon, with eyes that glowed faintly yellow. "A Drakari," Nicholas whispered. "Reed made contact with the enemy." "Not the enemy," Lisa corrected. "Listen to what they're saying." In the video, the Drakari spoke in a deep, rumbling voice. "Your Viridian allies have not told you the truth. They did not discover your world by chance. They have been watching you for centuries, waiting for humans to develop enough to be useful to them." Samuel looked shocked. "Why should I believe you?" "Because unlike them, we have nothing to gain by lying," the Drakari replied. "We do not seek conquest. We seek survival. The Viridians hunt us because of what we are, not what we've done." "And what are you?" Samuel asked. "Changelings, adapters. Our biology allows us to evolve rapidly to survive in any environment. The Viridians fear this ability and wish to control it, or destroy it." Back in the office, Nicholas stood up. "Is this real? Can we trust this?" "I've verified the video. It's not fake," Lisa assured him. "And I found historical records the Viridians didn't share with us. This war has been going on for over a century. The Viridians have destroyed 12 Drakari worlds. So we're caught between 2 alien powers, neither telling us the full truth," Nicholas said. "We need to get this information to the Defense Council immediately." As they prepared to leave, the building's alarm system activated. Red lights flashed throughout the complex. "What now?" Nicholas asked. His assistant checked the emergency channel. "Sir, we're detecting multiple jumps at the edge of our system. Large ships, but they're not Viridian." On the main screen, dozens of unknown vessels appeared near Neptune. Their design was organic, almost like living creatures rather than constructed ships. The Drakari had arrived, and Earth was now caught in the middle of an interstellar war it never asked to join. The night sky above Earth lit up with explosions as Drakari and Viridian ships fired at each other. It had been 3 weeks since the Drakari arrived in the solar system, and the war that had been fought across the stars was now happening right above humanity's home. Commander Daniel Frost stood on the bridge of the EDF Valiant, Earth's newest warship. Though advanced by human standards, it was small compared to the alien vessels fighting around them. "Status report," Daniel ordered, his eyes fixed on the battle display. "Viridian forces are falling back to Earth orbit," his second-in-command replied. "They're positioning their ships near our major cities, just as Director Carter warned." Daniel's jaw tightened. Earth had been trying to stay neutral in this fight, but the Viridians were making that impossible. By hiding behind human settlements, they were forcing Earth to either become their shield or be destroyed. "Launch our defense satellites. Keep them focused on protecting civilians, not joining the battle," Daniel ordered. The Valiant shook as a stray shot from a Drakari cruiser hit their shields. "Sir, we're receiving a transmission from Lunar Base," said the communications officer. "Dr. Morgan says she has important information about the Drakari ships." Dr. Catherine Morgan's face appeared on screen. Her lab coat was dirty and her hair disheveled, but her eyes were bright with excitement. "Commander, I've analyzed the debris from the damaged Drakari vessels," she said. "Their hull material has a major weakness. It reacts strongly to a specific radio frequency. If we broadcast that frequency at high power, we could disrupt their ship's structural integrity. That could give us an edge if we're forced to defend ourselves," Daniel said. "Send the data." The transmission cut off suddenly. Daniel looked at his tactical display to see Viridian ships surrounding the lunar base. "They're taking the base," his officer reported. "Looks like they're evacuating their forces and taking human prisoners with them." Daniel slammed his fist on the console. "Track them. I want to know where they're taking our people." Before they could act, alarms blared across the bridge. The Drakari fleet was advancing again, pushing the Viridians back toward Earth. In the chaos, the Viridian ships carrying the human prisoners disappeared. On Earth, Colonel Adam Parker led a team of soldiers through the ruins of what had once been San Francisco. When the Viridians retreated from orbit, they had abandoned their ground forces, leaving them to fight desperately for survival. "Movement ahead," whispered his scout. "Looks like a mixed group, both Viridian and Drakari soldiers." Adam signaled his team to take cover. This was unusual. The two alien species never fought together. They were mortal enemies. As they watched, they realized the Drakari weren't fighting alongside the Viridians. They were hunting them. The Viridians were running, terrified, as the Drakari methodically cornered and captured them one by one. "Sir, should we engage?" asked a young soldier. Adam shook his head. "Observe only. This is our chance to learn their tactics." The Drakari were using an unusual strategy. Rather than killing the Viridians, they were disabling their weapons and restraining them. Their movements were coordinated and efficient, showing years of combat experience. As the last Viridian was captured, the Drakari leader looked directly at Adam's hiding spot. Its eyes glowed in the darkness. "Humans," it said in a deep voice, "we know you are there. We mean you no harm." Adam stepped out cautiously, his weapon ready. "Your war has come to our world. Hard to believe you mean no harm." The Drakari made a gesture that might have been a bow. "This was not our choice. We have pursued the Viridians here because they left us no alternative. They plan to sacrifice your world to save theirs." "And what do you plan to do?" Adam asked. "To stop them," the Drakari replied. "And perhaps, with your help, to end this war before both our species are destroyed." In orbit, the battle continued. The Viridians were losing ground rapidly, and in their desperation, they were making a decision that would change everything. A decision that humanity would soon discover with horror. The emergency meeting of Earth's Defense Council was interrupted by a deafening explosion. The building shook, and dust fell from the ceiling. Outside the windows, they could see smoke rising from what used to be the city center. "They've started bombing civilian areas," said General Lewis, his face pale with shock. "The Viridians are targeting their own bases on our planet." Major Stephanie Clark looked at the satellite images showing destruction across major cities worldwide. "This isn't a retreat. It's scorch earth tactics. They're destroying everything they can't take with them." The council room doors burst open as Director Nicholas Carter rushed in, carrying a tablet. It's worse than we thought. We've decoded their last transmission. They call it Protocol Firewall. They're not just retreating. They're setting Earth up as a trap for the Drakari. The room fell silent as the implications sank in. The Viridians, facing defeat, had decided to use Earth as their last stand. Across the planet, Viridian forces were destroying infrastructure, sabotaging power plants, and placing strange devices at strategic locations. Human resistance was growing, but they were outgunned and struggling against the superior alien technology. In what remained of Chicago, engineer Jack Wilson crawled through rubble, following the signal on his detector. He had been tracking unusual energy readings for days, trying to understand what the Viridians were doing. When he reached the source, his blood ran cold. Hidden beneath a collapsed building was a device unlike anything he had seen before. Its core pulsed with blue light, and strange symbols covered its surface. Jack carefully connected his tablet to the device and downloaded its data. The translation program worked slowly, but what it revealed was terrifying. "This can't be right," he whispered to himself. He checked the location map on his tablet. The signal he had followed was just one of 50 identical readings across the globe. All the devices were placed along Earth's major fault lines. Jack activated his emergency communicator. "This is Engineer Wilson. I need to speak with Major Clark immediately. The Viridians have planted antimatter bombs throughout Earth's fault lines. If detonated, they could crack the planet's crust." In another part of the world, Intelligence Officer Ryan Thompson and exobiologist Melissa Grant were leading a small team through the Amazon rainforest. They had discovered a hidden Viridian facility and were determined to find out what was inside. "Security is minimal," Ryan observed. "They must have pulled most of their forces for the retreat." Melissa studied the building's design. "This doesn't look like a military installation. The energy signature is all wrong." They entered carefully, weapons ready. Instead of soldiers, they found rows of stasis pods. Each pod contained a sleeping Viridian civilian. They were planning to colonize, Melissa realized. "These are settlers, not soldiers." Ryan checked the computer terminal. "According to this, there are dozens of facilities like this worldwide. They'd been preparing for years to take over Earth." A soft alarm began to sound throughout the facility. The pod status lights changed from green to red. "Something's wrong," Melissa said, rushing to check the nearest pod. "Life support is failing. They're killing their own people." Ryan hacked into the main system. "It's automated, part of the same protocol Carter mentioned. They're eliminating everything that could help the Drakari, including their own civilians." "We can't let them die," Melissa insisted. "Whatever they plan to do, these are innocent people." As they worked to save the Viridians in the pods, a message came through from Major Clark. "All teams, be advised. We've confirmed the presence of antimatter weapons globally. The Viridians plan to destroy Earth rather than let it fall to the Drakari. We have approximately 48 hours before remote detonation." Ryan looked at Melissa, the weight of the situation heavy on his shoulders. "So that's their plan. If they can't have Earth, no one can." Outside, the sky turned orange as Drakari ships descended through the atmosphere. Time was running out for humanity to save their world from becoming collateral damage in an alien war. Captain Ethan Miller slowly opened his eyes. He was in a large room with walls that seemed to pulse with a soft blue light. The air smelled strange, like ocean and spice mixed together. He tried to move, but his arms and legs were held by some kind of energy field. "He's awake," said a voice nearby. Ethan turned his head to see a Drakari approaching. Unlike the fearsome warriors he had seen in battle, this one moved with a calm grace. Its scales shifted from blue to a gentle purple as it came closer. "Captain Miller of Earth," the Drakari said. "I am Saren, speaker for the High Council. We apologize for the method of your capture, but we needed to speak with you directly." Ethan struggled against his bonds. "If you want to talk, you could have asked instead of attacking our planet. We did not start this war," Sarin replied. The Viridians have been hunting us for generations. We only pursued them to your world when we discovered they planned to use Earth as a weapon against us. The energy restraints suddenly disappeared. Ethan rubbed his wrists, surprised at this show of trust. Come, said Sarin. There is much you need to see. Ethan followed the Drakari through corridors filled with other Drakari going about their business. None seemed hostile. Many had children with them, something Ethan had never seen with the Viridians. They entered a large chamber where a circle of elder Drakari sat waiting. In the center of the room was a holographic display of the galaxy. This is the High Council, Sarin explained. They wish to show you the truth. The oldest Drakari stood. Captain Miller, we are not the monsters the Viridians described. We are refugees. Our original home lies beyond the edge of this galaxy. We fled here generations ago. The hologram zoomed out to show a dark shadow moving between galaxies. This is what we flee from, continued the elder. A force that consumes all life in its path. The Viridians do not believe it exists. They think we invented this threat to excuse our presence in their territory. Why do they hate you so much? Ethan asked. Because of what we are, Sarin replied. His body suddenly changed, scales becoming smoother, eyes shifting position until he looked almost human. We adapt. Our bodies can evolve rapidly to survive in any environment. The Viridians fear this ability. They believe we will eventually replace them. In another part of the Drakari ship, Dr. Lisa Donovan was being shown ancient records. Her guide was a Drakari historian named Vela. These are star charts from our first visit to your solar system, Vela explained. From over 5,000 of your Earth years ago. Lisa stared in shock at the familiar shapes of Earth's continents, though they looked slightly different due to continental drift. You've been to Earth before. Vela nodded. Many times throughout your history. We never interfered directly, but we observed. Your myths of shapeshifters and changing creatures. Those were memories of encounters with us. Lisa thought about legends from around the world. Skinwalkers, Sulkies, Kitsune. Creatures that could change their form. There's more, said Vela, showing her genetic diagrams. All three of our species, Drakari, Viridian, and human, share certain genetic markers. We believe we were all seeded by the same precursor race. We're related, Lisa asked in disbelief. Distant cousins, Vela confirmed. The Viridians deny this connection. They believe they alone are the true inheritors of the precursor legacy. Back in the council chamber, Ethan was being shown the current situation on Earth. The Viridians are desperate, said the elder. They have placed weapons that could destroy your planet rather than let us stop them. We cannot disarm these weapons without triggering them. But humans might be able to, Ethan realized, if we work together. Sarin nodded. This is why we brought you here. Not as a prisoner, but as a potential ally. Your species has shown remarkable courage and adaptability in this conflict. Ethan looked at the hologram showing Earth, his home, with dozens of antimatter bombs threatening to tear it apart. I need to contact Earth's leaders, he said. We don't have much time. As Ethan prepared to return to Earth with the Drakari's help, he knew the hardest part was still ahead. He had to convince humanity to trust these aliens they had been taught to fear, and quickly, before the Viridians enacted their final act of revenge. The emergency bunker under what remained of Washington, D.C. was filled with tension. Earth's military leaders sat around a table, staring at Captain Ethan Miller and the Drakari representative beside him. You expect us to trust them? General Richard Hayes asked, his voice rough with disbelief. After our cities have been bombed and our people killed. The Viridians did that, not the Drakari, Ethan said firmly. And right now, the Drakari are our only hope of stopping those antimatter bombs. Everyone in the room knew the situation was desperate. Engineer Jack Wilson had confirmed that the bombs couldn't be moved without triggering them, and there were too many to find and disarm in the 36 hours they had left. The Drakari speaker, Sarin, stepped forward. His scales shifted nervously from blue to green. We offer our technology and warriors to help save your world. We have no desire to see Earth destroyed." General Hayes looked unconvinced. "And what do you want in return?" "Your help defeating the Viridians," Saren replied honestly. "Not to destroy them, but to stop this war. They will not listen to us, but they might listen to you." After hours of tense discussion, an uneasy alliance was formed. The Drakari provided advanced shield technology that could contain the antimatter explosions if they went off. Human engineers worked with Drakari technicians to adapt the shields to Earth's power systems. Meanwhile, Dr. Lisa Donovan worked with Vela, the Drakari historian, to translate ancient Viridian texts they had captured. They hoped to find a way to override the bomb detonation signals. "Their language has patterns based on mathematical principles," Lisa explained to Director Carter. "If we can crack their command codes, we might be able to shut down the bombs remotely." In another part of the compound, scientist Olivia Wright made a breakthrough with Drakari biotechnology. She had been studying their adaptive biology, looking for weaknesses in Viridian weapons. "The Viridians use psychic attacks against the Drakari," she told Ethan. "That's why, with only 12 hours remaining before the antimatter bombs would detonate, Earth's situation looked grim." The captured Viridian command ship had provided valuable information, but not the deactivation codes they desperately needed. Ambassador Samuel Reed paced the conference room, where representatives from Earth and the Drakari gathered. "We've been approaching this all wrong," he suddenly announced. "We've been fighting the Viridians when we should be talking to them." "They won't listen," Saren said. "We've tried for decades." "Not to you," Samuel replied. "But they might listen to us. Humans are the new element in this conflict. We need to offer them something neither side has considered." Using the communication systems from the captured Viridian ship, Samuel broadcast a message to the Viridian fleet. "This is Ambassador Reed of Earth. I request to speak with your High Commander about a solution that could benefit all our species." To everyone's surprise, the Viridians responded. Their High Commander, a stern-faced alien named Zorax, appeared on screen. "What solution could primitives like you offer?" he asked with obvious disdain. "A future where none of us needs to die," Samuel answered simply. "Your war with the Drakari has lasted generations. Both sides are exhausted, and now you're about to destroy a world that could help you both." While Samuel kept the Viridian commander talking, Dr. Catherine Morgan, who had escaped from Viridian captivity during the Jupiter battle, was working on a revolutionary discovery. In the lunar base laboratories, she had combined human ingenuity with technology from both alien species. "The Viridians need xanthium for their weapons and ships," she explained to Captain Miller. "That's why they came to Earth. Our oceans are rich with it, but they're harvesting it inefficiently." She showed him a small device humming with energy. "This converter can extract xanthium from ordinary seawater at 10 times their current rate without damaging the ecosystem, and it can be adapted to create synthetic xanthium from common elements." An unlimited supply, Ethan realized. That could change everything. Catherine nodded. "And there's more. The reason the Drakari are so feared is their adaptive biology. But I found a way to use that same principle to create adaptive energy systems that could power ships capable of traveling beyond our galaxy. To face the threat the Drakari have been fleeing from," Ethan said, understanding the implications. While these discussions continued, hardliners in the Viridian military decided to trigger the antimatter bombs early. They would rather destroy Earth than see it fall into Drakari hands. The detonation signal was sent. Across Earth, the bombs began to activate, but something unexpected happened. The signals were intercepted and blocked by a network of satellites that humans and Drakari had hastily deployed. On the main Viridian command ship, a group of officers staged a mutiny against their leader. "This genocide must stop," declared Sub-Commander Wren as she took control. "We were meant to be explorers and builders, not destroyers of worlds." The moderate Viridians reached out to Ambassador Reed. "We've heard your proposal. We are willing to discuss peace terms. With the immediate threat to Earth delayed but not eliminated, Captain Ethan Miller prepared for a dangerous mission. He would lead a delegation to the Viridian homeworld, bringing Dr. Morgan's technology as a peace offering. "This is insane," General Hayes told him. "You'll be walking into the heart of enemy territory." "Sometimes the bravest thing to do is to offer peace," Ethan replied. "The Viridians came to Earth looking for resources. We're going to show them there's a better way to get what they need than through conquest." As Ethan's ship prepared to depart, he looked out at Earth below them. The blue planet had nearly become another casualty in an ancient alien conflict. Instead, it might become the birthplace of a new understanding between species who had only known war. The peace mission departed for Viridia, carrying humanity's most powerful weapon: the ability to find solutions where others saw only problems. 3 years had passed since the near destruction of Earth. The Geneva Plaza was filled with representatives from 3 worlds. Humans stood alongside Drakari and Viridians under the open sky. Once bitter enemies, they now gathered for a historic moment. Captain Ethan Miller, now Admiral Miller, watched as Ambassador Samuel Reed prepared to sign the Tri-Species Accord. The document represented months of difficult negotiations and compromises from all sides. "Today marks the beginning of a new era," Samuel announced to the crowd. "Not just for Earth, but for all our civilizations." The journey to this day had not been easy. When Ethan first arrived on the Viridian homeworld with Dr. Morgan's technology, he had been met with suspicion and hostility. Many Viridians still viewed humans as primitive creatures not worth dealing with as equals. But the moderate faction, led by Sub-Commander Wren, had given them a chance to demonstrate their ideas. Dr. Morgan's xanthium converter had proven even more effective than expected. It provided a sustainable source of the resource the Viridians desperately needed without requiring conquest or destruction. "The humans have a saying," Wren had told her government. "A rising tide lifts all boats." Their approach benefits everyone, not just themselves. Over time, more Viridians came to see the wisdom in cooperation. Their centuries-old conflict with the Drakari had left both species exhausted and had diverted resources that could have been used for exploration and growth. The Drakari, too, had changed. Working with humans had shown them that adaptation could take many forms. It wasn't just about changing their bodies to suit their environment, but also about changing their thinking and finding new solutions to old problems. Now, as the leaders of all 3 species signed the historic document, Ethan reflected on how far they had come. Earth had become the neutral ground where Viridians and Drakari could meet without the weight of their painful history. Humans had become the mediators, helping 2 ancient enemies find common ground. "We did it," Dr. Lisa Donovan said, joining Ethan at the observation platform. "There were times I didn't think we'd survive, let alone create peace." Ethan nodded. "Humans have always been good at the impossible. It's our specialty." The accord contained provisions for scientific cooperation, cultural exchange, and mutual defense. But perhaps most importantly, it included a joint mission to investigate the threat lurking beyond the galaxy's edge, the darkness the Drakari had fled from generations ago. 6 months after the signing ceremony, Ethan stood on the bridge of the most advanced ship ever built. The ESS Unity was a marvel of combined technology from all 3 species: human creativity, Viridian engineering, and Drakari adaptive systems worked together in perfect harmony. "All systems ready, Admiral," reported Lieutenant Olivia Wright, now the ship's chief science officer. "Navigation plotted and confirmed," added Dr. Lisa Donovan, who had volunteered to lead the xenolinguistics team for this historic mission. Beside them stood representatives from both alien species, Saren from the Drakari and Wren from the Viridians. Once enemies, now colleagues united by a common purpose. "Unity to Earth control. We are ready for departure," Ethan announced. "Godspeed, Unity," came the response from Mission Control. "The hopes of 3 worlds go with you." As the ship accelerated away from Earth, Ethan thought about the strange path that had led them here. A war between alien species had nearly destroyed humanity, but instead had pushed them to become something greater. They had not only survived being caught between two powerful enemies, but had forged a stronger future for everyone. The Unity passed the edge of the solar system, its powerful engines propelling it toward the unknown. Whatever waited for them beyond the galaxy's edge, they would face it the way humans always face challenges, together, with determination and hope. The stars stretched into lines as the ship jumped to faster-than-light speed, carrying the united crew into the next chapter of their shared history.